Well, hello everyone. This is John Byrne with Poets&Quants. You are in the right place if you are interested in majoring in business at a great business school. We have in the house three terrific schools with really magnificent undergraduate business programs. Indiana University's Kelley School of Business, the University of Illinois' Gies College of Business, and Miami University's Farmer School of Business. Each of those schools are represented here by very important people who know the program's ins and outs. From Kelley, we have Alex Bruce, who's the Senior Director of the undergraduate program in Kelley Admissions. For Gies, we have Casey Abelt, who's Assistant Director of Undergraduate Admissions and Recruitment. And for Miami's Farmer, we have Chanel White, the Assistant Dean and Director of Divisional Advising. Welcome all. So let's start with Kelley. Maybe tell us a little bit about the school, its mission and values. Obviously, you're in Bloomington, Indiana. Give us a sense of the reputation of the school as well.
Yes, excellent. So very excited to be here. So thanks again for the invitation and look forward to answering all the questions and talking a little bit more about the Kelley School and this overall process of choosing the right school for you as well. So the Kelley School of Business, right? Very, very proud, very rich tradition, right? A couple of years ago, we just celebrated our 100th year of being a business school as IU was celebrating 200 years of being an institution. So strong reputation and long pathway of doing and innovating our curriculum throughout the time. So large program, right? We don't hide behind that. We see an incoming direct admit class of around 2,000 students each year. But that leads to an incredible alumni network of over 125,000, right? So during your time here at the school, we recognize our size, but make sure you feel as an individual as you go through your time here. Average class size within the school is only going to be 46, and you're going to see that your first year on campus very intentionally with some of our small classes. And those first couple of years, really giving you the opportunity to explore business and find your respective path as you go forward and get into those crucial years of your junior and senior year where you lock into a particular major, double major, or co-major in there and start to explore your career opportunities. So that's a little bit about the Kelley School and get into more as we go throughout the night.
Great. And Casey, what about Gies?
Hi, John. Excited to be here today. Like John said, my name is Casey Abelt. I represent Gies College of Business at the University of Illinois. We're located in Champaign-Urbana. People like to describe Champaign-Urbana as micro-urban, is what I've heard people say. We're about 2 hours south of Chicago, right in the middle of a triangle of Chicago, St. Louis, and Indianapolis. Our institution has a really rich history of innovation, especially technology innovation, which is present really all across our campus, but definitely within the business world. We have about 600 students that start as direct admit to Gies Business each year. All of our direct admits, and I know we'll get to a lot of admissions questions, start as business undeclared majors. So while you would start taking business classes right away, we really want to encourage students to learn and grow within all areas of business and have that breadth of knowledge to eventually get depth of knowledge in a particular major that you would start those courses a little later on. We are really proud of the diversity of our campus, especially within our college and our international student population that represents countries from all over the world, both as students, but then also people that choose to live and work and be in Champaign-Urbana and our micro-urban community really full time. So that's a little bit about Gies Business and excited to answer your questions.
That's great. Thanks, Casey. And Chanel, give us the rundown on Farmer.
Yeah, the Farmer School of Business is located in beautiful Oxford, Ohio. We are the picturesque college town. So when you picture college, this is what you picture, beautiful cobblestones here in Oxford, Ohio. So we really are kind of that picturesque college town. You can see the Georgian architecture here in the photo behind me. And so we really have that vibrant and active college community that's thriving. And the Farmer School is really a large proportion of our campus community. And so the Farmer School is really a vibrant part of our campus community, and our building is bustling with activity all throughout the evening and weekends. We're deeply committed to undergraduate teaching, so that's really the heart and soul of the Farmer School of Business. Our faculty are here because they're passionate about undergraduate teaching. They are here because they are committed to the undergraduate student. They're not here to supervise doctoral dissertations. They're here primarily to focus on our undergraduate students. And the business students really do start in that first year. And they start with the first year integrated core with a client-based project. In that very first semester, they'll have the opportunity to engage in that client-based work using real client data, signing non-disclosure agreements. And this year they're working with the sustainability clients. So really incredibly unique opportunities to engage in client-based work as a first-year student. So that's a very unique opportunity that we're excited about. And so we're really grateful. And thank you so much for the opportunity, John.
And Chanel, you are also a direct admit program, right?
That is correct. Yes. So the majority of our students are directly admitted. And so when students apply to the university, they will indicate an interest in business. We do have an intra-university transfer process where students can move into the school as sophomores, but the majority of our students are direct admits.
Yes. So all three programs have direct admit programs, essentially admissions policies. And yes, you can transfer in later on. But I just want to emphasize for parents out there, many of whom will be watching this telecast, that the advantage of a direct admit program is kind of obvious. If your child does want a business education, you can be assured of getting one at any one of these three schools. There are many schools that have programs where you essentially have to apply twice. You apply to get into the university, and then you apply again, often in your sophomore year, to get into the business program. And you don't know if you're going to get in or not at that point, and you may end up having to major in economics or something else if you can't get in. And that's one disadvantage of not going to a direct admit school. I want to, obviously, the business major is the most popular undergraduate major in America. I believe it's 1 in 5 students major in business. And frankly, it would be a lot more if universities had business programs. Many of them have programs in economics, and people are funneled into those econ programs. But I wonder, Alex, if you might just explain, why are so many people wanting an undergraduate business degree, and what are the advantages of having one?
Yeah, excellent question. So we get that a lot from students exploring their options at IU and other institutions, right? The appeal to a business degree is really those strong skills, some specific skills you get in a respective academic content, but Kelley also offers some really good opportunities to enhance those soft skills, right? That are going to be applicable no matter what path that you go throughout your life, whether it's the presentation skills, whether it is the networking skills, whether it's computers in business, right? Learning how to utilize Excel and incorporating that into the work that you do. So many of those critical, small, soft skills, yes, applicable if you're going to go into a traditional business path, but if you go on a different path, you start your own business, right? You explore another one of your passions, those skills are going to be easily transferable. I think that's where we find the biggest passion and the reason for students pursuing a business education.
Right. And I think a lot of parents often steer their kids into business, in part because they know that is a degree that will actually get them a job. And given the high cost of undergraduate education today, they want their children to have the prospects of a decent job right at graduation or shortly thereafter. Casey, I wonder if you often hear from parents about the whole issue of employability of your graduates.
Sure, absolutely. And Well, it's a simple answer, I think, for all of our schools to say, in that 98% of our students have a first destination. So our students will find that job, and I hope that's reassuring to families, but we also want them to find the right first stop. And I think that's something that with additional career advising and core curriculum can really help students navigate all of the different options that exist out there, because it's overwhelming, the number of internship opportunities and full-time employment, especially right now in 2023, what we're seeing with the economy and business graduates having access to. So it sounds cliche, but it's truly about finding the right first stop versus finding a first stop. I have a friend that works in a large accounting firm, and she talks to me all the time about how their accounting firm is trying to get into high schools because there's such competition for these businesses to get those new graduates, and they want to start that funnel so early. So in some ways, our students are getting the benefit of that culture right now of being able to look into all of these great options and figure out what's best for them.
True, absolutely true. The other thing I should mention, and this may be apparent to some, but not to all, is, years ago, many companies had a lot of bench strength. There was a lot of layers of management. And what those layers did was allow companies to bring in non-business majors and to put them into rotation and training programs. And many of those programs have disappeared. Today, employers want to hire people who can make a contribution fairly quickly. And business majors can, because obviously they're steeped in the basics of business, and then some when you specialize in your business arena. So, Chantel, I mean, how many different specializations or concentrations or do you have in your program?
Yeah, so we offer 9 majors, 16 minors, and then limitless combinations within that. So it's very common. About 60% of our students do a double major or a minor. And then we also offer a limited number of 3+1 graduate programs. So while our kind of bread and butter is the undergraduate experience, we do have a number of students who come in with a lot of credit from high school, from College Credit Plus or dual enrollment kinds of experiences. And so they're really looking to kind of level up their experience. And so we're offering some specialized master's programs in accountancy, economics, and business analytics. And so they're doing that as a +1. So fitting 2 degrees in 4 years. And so students are able to do that as a 3+1 opportunity. And so it really just makes them more, gives them another opportunity to maximize their time while they're here at Miami, as well as fit in those second majors and minors and really customize their Miami experience, and provides them an additional skill set in the marketplace that employers are really looking for.
Yeah, and that customization is crucial for allowing a new graduate to make an immediate contribution at work, which is why undergraduate business majors are so valuable and why they get jobs. Now, I want to ask each of you how your program has stayed up to date. Obviously, in more recent years, we've had a great emphasis on data analytics, given the overwhelming amount of data that companies are now having to deal with. We have issues of diversity and inclusion, which have become socially very important and important at many companies. There's sustainability, which has become a priority at many companies, as well as how will machine learning and artificial intelligence be deployed in the world of work. So, Alex, let's start with you. How does Kelley address those very topical concerns right now?
Yeah, that's excellent. So first and foremost, we lean on that strong alumni base, right? They are so incredible and love to be involved. We find new ways to incorporate them into the planning, into the teaching of the curriculum, coming back and participating. We have workshops, so some niche areas designed for students who want to go into specific areas of business. Great alumni coming into those, giving, adjunct lectures or teaching classes in those areas. So first and foremost, that continued conversation with our critical alumni who are out there doing the work. In similar vein, obviously working with our corporate partners, right? We know we are preparing students to go work for them. So we create throughout the school years different ways for them to come in and interact with our faculty, right? Determine what gaps do we have in our curriculum, right? What do we need to fill in? Where is the demand on these students as they enter the workforce, right? So I think we continue throughout the school year, have those opportunities for corporations to come in. It's just not, come in for the career fairs and come find a student. No, there's bigger things going on. We know that's one part of the company coming in. We invite other aspects of the company to come in and chat with the faculty and the deans to deliver that for our curriculum.
Great. Casey, your take at Gies?
Yeah, I agree that having corporate partners as a part of the conversation when it comes to developing curriculum and majors is crucial. I've worked at Gies Business for 5 years now, and every year we've had a different set of core curriculum requirements, new majors that are established, minors, combination options, and I think it's really important that as business schools that have all been around for a long time, that we are constantly changing and evolving based on new technology, new software, new skills, new world events that our students need to be aware of and prepared to work within all of those systems. So we've developed a business analytics curriculum that is now required for all students to take, regardless of which major that you select. But then on top of that, if you do have an interest in learning more or going more in depth within technology, there are so many different ways that that can look on our campus. It could be a business specific major. We have new plus data science majors that are really popular for students interested in business, and figuring out what that exact combination for you is going to be takes some time, and it takes some courses, and it takes some experience and support from our advising team to eventually land on that combination that really does fulfill your interest and need. But yeah, that constant evolution is just so important in a business curriculum.
Yep. Chanel, how does Farmer stay on top of all these different trends?
Yeah, those are both great responses. I mean, I think the only thing I would add are that we have faculty who are continuously doing research in this area as well. So we have a lot of cybersecurity initiatives that are happening right now with our director of cybersecurity. And we have a cybersecurity panel that's happening in 2 weeks. And we have a lot of industry executives who are coming in on that topic. Specifically, it's just a timely one that I happen to think of because it's happening here in the next 2 weeks. So a lot of cutting edge research as well is the only other thing to add.
So we also know that because business education is in high demand and there are a lot of people who want to pursue it, admissions can be fairly tricky and selective. And so, Chanel, what are you looking for in an ideal candidate?
That's a great question. So obviously, we're looking for well-rounded candidates. So we want students who kind of have that total package, certainly high-quality academic experiences. We're looking for students who've selected a rigorous academic curriculum in their high schools, students who have continued their studies in mathematics and have that rigorous academic experience. But we're also looking for students who kind of have the total package, students who were involved in high school. We want them to continue those leadership experiences here in the farmer school. We're looking for someone who is going to hit the ground running here in the farmer school and is ready to kind of take on leadership experiences here and wants to become a vibrant member of our community in the farmer school as well. So we're looking for students who want to be here and make their mark on the farmer school community as well.
Are there certain grade requirements or SAT requirements that you have?
So Miami University is test optional at this time. So we don't have ACT or SAT scores that are required. If students choose to submit those test scores, they will be considered for the student's applicant profile, and we will consider them. So we do have some middle 50th percentile scores that we'll use in terms of their merit profile that we'll consider for scholarships, but students are not required to submit them. However, However, we will certainly look at the rigor of the high school curriculum. That's definitely considered, and we're looking for students who have, if you have AP or college credit or dual enrollment credit, if your school offers those opportunities, we're certainly looking for students that have selected those rigorous experiences. If your school has those opportunities, we're looking for those more rigorous academic experiences.
Right. Great. Casey, what about at Gies? What are you looking for in the ideal candidate?
Very similar in that we want to know that students have challenged themselves academically in their high school and in their high school setting, and that they're prepared to do well in Gies business. I think when we offer admission to any undergraduate student, we're saying, we believe that you can be successful here. You may be challenged, you will be challenged, but we believe that you'll find success. And so being able to demonstrate that in your high school experience is important. We also want to see that our incoming class has unique talents, hobbies, career goals, interests that they're bringing to our community. That makes everyone in our community better when we have students with those different passions in the classroom. I think also, strong essays and being able to clearly articulate your thoughts around our essay prompts is very important, and that you've shown that you can manage your time well. In that activities section, we ask you to estimate how many hours per week and weeks per year you spend on those activities. An activity is a very broad term. And I really like that part of the application, because I want to see that an applicant was able to manage their time with whatever activities or commitments that they had, and they earned great grades, because that is such an important skill in your college experience. So being able to showcase that you've had that practice and you've been able to work through strategies to be successful in high school is really important in the application.
Yeah, good points. Alex, do you require tests, or are you test optional these days?
Great question. So IU, and we embrace it at Kelley here, is fully test optional. We were really excited. That's something we came to in fall of 19, right? So something we were excited about then and continue to be excited about as we see how it's really opened some doors for more people to apply to IU and pursue the opportunities here. So we are test optional, and for the foreseeable future plan to remain test optional as well. How does that impact direct admission to Kelley? So we have two paths to direct admission. So we have the automatic criteria, right? So November 1st is that critical deadline to submit by and indicate a business major in there. From an academic standpoint, then you need to have a 3.8 GPA in high school. And to answer the question that's coming, right? IU and Kelley will take the highest GPA that is on that student's official transcript. So if there's a weighted and unweighted both on the transcript, whatever's the highest and on that official transcript, that's what IU admission is taking. We do not round up. I saw that question in the chat.
Yes, good. I'm glad you answered it.
Yeah, IU does not round up. So you have a 3.79, you don't quite hit the criteria. But in addition to the GPA, you also, for automatic criteria, you need to have the test score of a 30 ACT or a 1370 on the SAT. So if a student chooses to apply test optional, we fully support that. We have the review request opportunity there. So that's your way to indicate, hey, I'm really excited about Kelley and I want to be a direct admit. I think if you take a closer look at my high school criteria, you're going to find that I'm showing the preparedness to come in and do well. And that's exactly what we're looking for, right? We want to see what a student has done 9th through 11th grade in that curriculum they've had in front of them, right? Because we know that is the better indicator of how they're going to do when they get here at college, wherever that may be. We know what they do over the course of 3 years rather than 3 hours on a Saturday is really critical. So that's what we're going to dive into is, what have you done? You have the classes that are in front of you. Maybe they're honors, maybe they're AP. Maybe your school doesn't offer that, but what have you done in the opportunities that you have to demonstrate your preparedness and commitment to academic excellence? So along the way, we give students an opportunity to demonstrate who they are beyond just the grades, right? We're excited how we've evolved our review request this year to add a few more essays for students to really show themselves as individuals and what they're going to bring to the Kelley community, not only as from an academic standpoint, but as an individual.
Yeah, that's great. There are a bunch of questions rolling in. A lot of them have to do with admissions, surprisingly. And if you have rolling admissions, and I believe probably most of you do, right? How soon can a student hear back after submitting an application? And does one hear back earlier if you're admitted versus turned down? Who wants to take that?
I can start with that one. We don't have rolling admission in the traditional sense that families may be thinking about it. We have an early action deadline of November 1st as well. November 1st is a big day in the college admissions world. That's our early action deadline to the University of Illinois by applying as a business undeclared major. That's also your application to Gies College of Business. And students are notified of their decision at the end of January this year. So it is a particular date where we will tell everyone that's applied their admissions decision. We do have a regular decision deadline that's early January, but I really only talk to families about the early action deadline until November 2nd, because it's so important for priority review for admission and scholarships and honors programs. You find out earlier. There's nothing else that you need to do to be considered early action other than applying by November 1st.
Okay. And what about at Farmer?
Yeah, so we also have an early action non-binding November 1st deadline, and we are notifying students by December 15th. And this year we are offering an application fee waiver to all students who apply by November 1st. So we encourage you to get those applications in by November 1. You find out December 15th this year.
And Alex, your deadlines are what? Oh, you're on mute.
Yeah, much like Casey, November 1st, right? That is the critical deadline for direct admission, but also to maximize your scholarship opportunity within Kelley and IU in general. So you really got to hit that November 1st deadline. That is critical with us.
Now, here's a decent question, I think. When there's an opportunity for an applicant to add some commentary in their application, what kind of information would be helpful in that section? And what kind of information do people include that is not helpful to you? Who wants it? Casey, why don't you take that?
Sure. I appreciate when that area of the application is used to explain really anything that would stand out on an academic transcript, whether that be a low grade or why a student chose to take the classes that they did. We know that we have some students applying from high schools where you have so many options for the classes that you want to take. If you want to give a little context as to why you chose the classes that you did, I think that's helpful. And when a student is explaining a low grade or a semester that they struggled, it's most valuable to our review committee if they can really share what they learned from that experience. How did they implement new study strategies? How did they ask for help? And how have those strategies and how did that experience set them up for success moving forward? Compared to blaming a teacher or an external factor, right? Like taking some ownership of that and showing how you've grown is a much more valuable. And I appreciate that in the application.
So don't blame a low grade on one of your teachers.
I think you could give a little more to it that would demonstrate more to the committee. Yeah.
Right. Alex, you have a view on this?
Yeah, so going off that last piece, so we do provide in the review request an opportunity for students to talk about a life event that may have happened, right? You may have a 3.75 GPA, and that was because in 9th grade, you had a critical life event, right? That really took you out of that spring semester. So we like giving students that opportunity. But the other critical essays really give students an opportunity to demonstrate what are you going to do with the Kelley education, right? What is something you're passionate about? And how is your education here at Kelley School going to allow you to attack that issue once you get beyond, this wonderful place that is called college, right? So we were looking at why Kelley kind of there, and what are you bringing to this community? What are you going to bring to enhance the community that you're about to be a part of here in a few short months? So those are a couple of the really big things we're looking for in a student.
Now, one of the things I hear from parents who may not be all that knowledgeable about how a business curriculum works is that if you major in business, it means you're not going to get the broad depth of knowledge that you would get in the sort of a major liberal arts kind of education. Chanel, that's not true, right?
So at Miami University, we are a liberal arts institution, and so all students will complete our liberal arts requirements. It's an opportunity for students to explore outside the Farmer School of Business. And in addition, 70% of Miami students study abroad at some point during their time here. So 70% of students in the Farmer School of Business have the opportunity to pursue global study, and we certainly help them do that. And so those are unique opportunities to pursue something in another country and explore and expand their horizons. And so through that, many of them will explore other cultures, in which case they'll probably have the opportunity to explore some liberal arts courses in their studies. And so we encourage them to do that. Certainly they'll get a great undergraduate business education in their 4 years here, but they'll also have the opportunity to take many, many other courses along the way.
And I'm assuming that's true at Kelley and at Gies, right? Yeah. Okay, good. Let me ask you this. If I were to ask you to give me 5 adjectives to describe the culture of your undergraduate business program, what adjectives would come to mind? Casey, let's start with you. 5 adjectives to describe your culture.
I had a feeling you were going to do that. Okay, so first, collaborative. Business exists in a collaborative environment in college and outside of college. Innovative. I think that especially with technology. Inclusive. Purposeful, right? We like to think of business having value in society and as individuals. Yes, one more. I'm trying to use community as an adjective, but right, like a community of support, right?
Sure.
Supportive, I think is what I would share there. Thank you.
That's great. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of overlap here.
Yeah.
Right? Chanel, what would be your 5?
I have to cheat a little bit. I'm going to say core because we have our first year core. And so I'm going to say core and collaborative. So that's also one that's shared. I didn't get to think about this one. Historic. So we do have a very historic campus here in the Farmer School.
Right.
And then community and undergraduate.
There you go. Okay. So, and Alex, what would be your 5 adjectives to describe the culture of the Kelley School?
Absolutely. So we start with talented, right? So certainly students are coming in, they're going to have a lot of those abilities. Tenacious, right? They have that ability, that determination to see things out. Inclusive, right? We're consistently finding ways to add and bring in others and what different paths we can take throughout the Kelley School. Innovative, obviously always trying to grow and differentiate ourselves as students, individuals, and as a school as we go forward. And then finally, humble, right? Ability to look at ourselves in the mirror and say, I am not the smartest person at all times. I need to look around at these world-class faculty, staff, and students that I'm around and learn something from them.
Yes, right. That's all good. Chanel, I wonder what makes your program stand out. What do you think?
Well, I've spoken about our deep commitment to undergraduate teaching. Our signature experiences. So our global studies, 70% of Farmer School students study abroad at some point during their time here. We haven't touched on this, but internships, I'm sure many of the schools on this call offer great opportunities for internships. So that's another one of our signature experiences, and hands-on learning like our first year integrated core. Signature experiences, deep commitment to undergraduate teaching, and first year integrated core. Those three things are really the hallmark of the Farmer School undergraduate experience here.
Does the Farmer School have its own career management center?
Yes, we do. So we have a dedicated staff here of professionals in the Farmer School of Business right here in this little wing right behind my shoulder, who are happy to meet with Farmer School students and really thrilled to help them in their career development all throughout their time at Miami.
Yeah, and I'm going to underline this, okay, because I think it's an important point that might be missed by a lot of parents. You know, when you go to a really good business school, they have their own career management and career development office with their own staffers because they take employment very seriously. You know, if your child majors in philosophy or, as I did, English or political science, they're going to use the university-wide office. And I'm just going to tell you, if you haven't had an experience with a university-wide career management or career development office, you'll know you won't get a lot of care. You won't get a lot of hand-holding. It's more difficult to get an internship that lines you up with a full-time job offer and gives you some experience to talk about with a future employer. So having those facilities and those resources is absolutely essential. And I know at the Kelley School, they have an entire building devoted to career management and development, filled with coaches and recruiters who come so often and in such plentiful fashion that they actually have a scoreboard up there that looks like a train schedule with with a lot of busy people coming in and out. All important aspects of making sure that you get a job when you graduate. Casey, I want to ask you, what makes the Gies program stand out?
Yeah, for me, I think that innovative core curriculum and evolving majors that meet the needs of corporate partners and the needs of business graduates in 2023. I was speaking to an accountancy professor recently, and it was really interesting how she was talking about how she's changed the content of her course since having the business analytics courses required of all business students. So it's not just taking the business analytics courses as sophomores, but it's also impacting what our professors are able to do at those higher level courses within your particular majors. So I think that integration is really important. And I also think the overall culture at the University of Illinois, to have such a huge campus, but a fairly small business community, provides access for that one-on-one attention and in relationships with professors, but also the ability to connect with students at a top engineering program with wonderful education and health and fine arts related majors as well. So that's something that we're really passionate about as well, is making sure that Gies students don't get in the business bubble and only stay in the business bubble, but that you're exploring all of the incredible things and people that are at the University of Illinois.
Great. Alex, what makes Kelley stand out?
Yeah, so obviously with all of us, I think it starts with the curriculum, right? What we are really proud of is your first 2.5 years, you were pushed, challenged to go out there and explore all aspects of business, right? Number of students, they're going to come in finance, accounting, right? That's going to be most popular in most business schools for those first year students. And that's great. That's wonderful. We provide avenues, whether it's a workshop, some one-off classes, student organizations, go explore that. Great. But your first 2.5 years, you're going to explore computers and business. You're going to explore aspects of management and marketing, right? You're going to be enrolled, and this gets to our second thing, is our Compass curriculum, right? So the Compass curriculum is all about you, right? You start that your first year on campus where you're really learning, what is my brand? You're starting to learn, what is a resume? What does LinkedIn look like? And we're pushing you in that course to go out and find people who are doing the job that you want to do, right? In 3 or 4 years, you think that's what I want to do. What did it take for them to get there? What experiences academically, professionally did they have that allowed them to get there, right? Incorporated into curriculum is that Kelley Career Services, right? As part of the sophomore Compass experience, you're required to meet with a Kelley career coach, sit down, really fine tune that resume, start to learn, what does a career fair look like? What does it look like to network at a career fair, right? Building that brain, right? It starts early. It's a process, right? We're not slamming it on you junior year or senior year saying, now's the time, now's when you gotta. No, it's a long-term process to really understand who you are, where are your passions, what's going to be best for you to pursue during your time here. on this campus, right? So the challenging curriculum to be well-rounded as a business individual, the compass curriculum really pushing you to dive into who am I, where's my space in business, right? And then really understanding, much like the others, that the business is global, right? We have over 67 different countries that a student can choose to go and study abroad, right? Different programs that a student can pursue during their time here in Kelley. And we have multiple different ways, whether it's a summer internship program, the sophomore global business immersion program, or your traditional semester-long experience. We recognize the students that graduate from Kelley, they're not going to be constricted to working within the United States when it comes to their business future. They need to understand how business works around the world. So really finding some intentional ways for them to learn more about how business works in different parts of the world.
We have a really engaged audience out there because we have a lot of questions. I'm going to throw a few out to different people here and then close with a couple of other questions of my own. Chanel, here's a question for you. Can you please discuss what your admissions department looks for in a transfer student?
That's a great question. So for transfer students, we require 30 hours, a 3.5 GPA, calculus, and economics. And if students meet those admission criteria, we will admit them as a transfer student. And if students have any questions, they can contact us in the advising office and we'll be happy to help.
Great. Alex, any changes to Kelley in Indianapolis since the recent change over there?
That is a great question, right? So it's always important to point out that Kelley Indianapolis and Kelley Bloomington are two separate entities, right? You earn admission to those two schools very separately, right? We fall under the same umbrella of IU and Kelley, but the Kelley Indianapolis campus is unique and runs themselves. So they are really being innovative and diving into the local Indianapolis community and learning how can we help the businesses here in the Indianapolis area. How do we provide them more exposure? How do we integrate them more into the campus, right? And for all of us, so IU and Purdue used to collaborate with the Indianapolis campus starting in the fall of 2024. Indiana University will independently run that campus. And Purdue will have another satellite campus there as well. But yeah, so that'll be a big change going forward for the Indianapolis campus.
And Casey, how does your school view courses that are taken outside of a applicant's high school?
Yeah, I think those are often great ways that students can challenge themselves, especially if they found something offered outside of their high school that isn't offered at their high school. We totally understand that. So it's not something that we require or encourage. It's really dependent on the student and, again, what's offered to them. And if there's any additional context that they would want to provide about their course selection, again, I encourage any applicant to do that in the other academic information.
This is one for all of you that's asked, what is your favorite aspect of the business school? Chanel, let's start with you.
The students.
There you go.
We have incredible students here in the Farmer School, and when I leave, I know that I'm going to see so many talented and wonderful students. And I've worked here for 13 years, and one of my favorite things that I get to do is just work with so many talented and incredible students each and every single day. And that sounds pretty cheesy, but I mean that with all sincerity, because each and every day I get to work with a lot of really, really fantastic students. And it's a joy to watch them walk across the stage at graduation and to celebrate their accomplishments. So maybe that's not the answer that brings
That's a great answer. That's a great answer. I love that answer. Casey, what would be your answer?
Also the students, it's hard to top that. I took a group of 40 first-year students to Brazil this past May, and some of my friends and family members were like, why would you ever want to do that? And I was like, I know it's going to be awesome. And it absolutely was. I mean, the way the students engaged with the opportunity that they had was so inspiring, and the way they value the education that they're receiving, I think is, why we do the work that we do. So learning and seeing them grow is really great.
Alex, your favorite aspect of the Kelley experience?
It would certainly be the collaboration, right? I was an undergraduate, graduate student on this campus, right? And the students within Kelley, you know, it's a business school. It's going to be cutthroat, right? I'm out for me, individualistic. And you spend 2 days here and you learn like, nope, that's not it at all, right? Like we have incredible faculty and students. They lead the staff that lead the way of like, we're in this together. We want to see everyone get to this excellent endpoint, right? And the students just mirror that, right? They do an incredible job. Now it's integrated into the curriculum, right? Where you're not going to do a lot of individual deliverables, right? It's going to be a lot of group work. Again, representing what it's going to be like for you in 3 or 4 years when you walk into the business world. But to see everyone just take that on as like a badge of honor, like we're working together, right? We're going to do our best work when we come together. That is just awesome, right? And it challenges you every day to come in and bring your best, right? The work that I do and work with my colleagues within the undergraduate program of like, how can we best work together to deliver a better experience for the students? Because that's what the faculty are doing. That's what the students are doing day in and day out.
Indeed. Listen, our time is up, and I'm amazed because there's so many more questions out there, and actually some very good ones, I might add, that obviously can get answered by sending an email to an admission staffer at the schools. But it's been a great session. I loved how engaged the audience has been. It's going to be seen by a lot of people, and I really appreciate that. So Alex, Casey, and Chanel, thank you for participating. It's been a really joy to spend this time with you. And for all of you out there, we have the next session coming up where we're going to talk about careers at these 3 business school programs. So stay with us. We'll be back in like 10 minutes. We'll see you then. This is John Byrne with Poets and Quants.